Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 2 of the I Do Wedding Marketing podcast. My name is Nina Adio, and I am once again stoked to be here. On the I Do Wedding Marketing podcast, I discuss tips and tricks for wedding pros to DIY their social media or to gain the confidence to outsource it. Episode 2, guys. That means we can say things like, welcome back, or it's another episode. I plan on posting episodes every Wednesday for Wedding Wednesday, but as I launched this, I wanted to make sure you had more than one episode to listen to. So on episode 1 of the podcast, we spoke about social media marketing as a whole and why it's such an important piece of your marketing plan. And if you didn't listen to that episode yet, I really recommend you go back and listen to it, even if you're a veteran when it comes to social media or you think you already know what you need to know. Sometimes just talking the basics again can really get you inspired and going. But today I'm going to still be discussing elements of social and digital media, but in the landscape of keeping things local. If you've been following the I Do Wedding Marketing blog or my account on Instagram, which is I Do Wedding Marketing, then you'll know that I'm always focused on local growth and engagement techniques for my clients. That's because the majority of my clients, they're hyper-local businesses. While some wedding professionals are destination-focused, many are focused on serving a particular region, a particular area, or even particular venues. And previous to this current era where there's a lot of digital marketing material out there, before finding local specific digital marketing techniques was near impossible for me. So I was starting out doing marketing in-house for a group of wedding venues, and everything that I was finding was national based. So the ideas I'm going to be discussing today are all things that are tested and true in my past experiences and that I learned over time from just doing it myself. So the first thing I want to talk about are local wedding magazines, okay? Local wedding magazines. I love local wedding magazines for both couples and for advertisers or wedding professionals. So what I love about locally curated magazines is that everything is curated with the local professionals, local regions. I'm just going to keep saying local till you go local. But it's all done with that in mind. So a large brand magazine like The Knot, they'll do regional publications and it's great for your ads, but your presence may end there. Where locally produced magazines often have additional opportunities to feature local advertisers on their spreads, in their write-ups, maybe even in their editorials or styled shoots, where you may not get that from those bigger brands. Many of these local magazines also have a social media presence, a digital magazine, and website listings to back up that printed investment. So I definitely ask about that when you're working with a local magazine. When I was a bride working in the industry, a struggle for me was wondering how I was going to bring these amazing details I'd see on viral profiles and Pinterest boards to life. So local wedding magazines and looking through those gave me the opportunity to see really editorial style work and work like that done from professionals I could actually hire to make it happen. It wasn't like I was looking at the professionals from Kim Kardashian's wedding and People magazine where it's like, well, I can't do that. These were high-end looking editorials done in these really nice local magazines from people I could actually hire. Also, you want to think about where this magazine is going to get distributed. Many local-based wedding magazines are placed at venues, bridal salons, even better, bridal showcases. So that's a lot more proactive than something that's just going to be, let's say on a rack at a drugstore. These magazines are appearing in places where you want your ad to be. So a quick Google search will help you connect with local print magazines or digital listings in your area. Just type in your region and wedding magazine after that to start your search, and you should start to come up with some results. The next type of local advertising, marketing, etc. I want to talk about our social media influencers. So when you typically think about a social media influencer, you may think of a solo account, somebody who's posting pictures of themselves with their iced coffee, having a good time. This isn't the type of influencer I'm talking about. I'm talking about more of location-based influencers, local accounts, specifically for Instagram here, but Facebook and TikTok may apply. So what I'm talking about are your radio stations, your newspapers, your local magazines. Of course, the wedding magazines count for that too. Your news accounts, maybe really popular venues or restaurants or foodie accounts. These are all types of profiles with large targeted followings. Chances are, if somebody is following a radio station or a foodie account in your area, that they're going to be in your area as well. So if you start engaging with that audience, or tag those accounts when relevant, ask how you can collaborate, and see what magic you can make together. One thing I personally love to do is to create and share an Instagram story whenever I'm at a venue or a nice local restaurant. I'll make a nice Instagram post. I'll tag the location in it. I'll tag them as well. And then the door is open to collaborate or chat further if needed. Each time you're at a bridal showcase, or maybe you're doing a site visit or a collab with another professional, I try that tactic. I post a story. Then if the venue responds, that's an in for you to say, hey, I'd love to work here more. Do you have a vendor list? Or what can we do? Or maybe they'll reshare it into their stories. Just simple things like that through tapping into those local profiles can really help with. Here's another thing I love lately, okay? Facebook groups. Facebook groups are the little engine that could. I mean, when Facebook groups launched, I'm going to take this to around like 06, 07, maybe around those days. When it launched then, it was a hit and miss. Okay, it didn't really work. Then as years went on, Facebook groups found their place and their value. I actually have a little side story for this. So around, let's say 06, when Facebook groups came out, I could fact check that right now, but I'm just giving an estimate here. Around that time, my friends and I had become obsessed with this European disco group, Boney M. And my friend Marie made a Boney M Facebook group for us. And it was really just us in it. And then as years went on and Facebook groups took off, this account became viral and now has, thousands of members and is a huge thing. And a lot of it is not just because Boney M is excellent. It is because Facebook groups have taken off. So what is a Facebook group? It's essentially a message board on Facebook where people can request to join, and it's determined by the administrators if they're accepted. So, for example, let's say if you want to join the Boney M group, just to make sure we're only getting fans or real people and not spam accounts, you may ask a question like, please share your favorite Boney M song, and then the administrator would accept you. So there are groups for everything. I mean, right now I'm in groups for things ranging from young adult book lovers to Disney YouTubers, Aldi grocery store fans. But I'm also in groups for brides and grooms, for social media marketers, and for wedding professionals. Groups for bride and grooms exist on national levels and by location. Not all groups, though, allow non-engagees, so to speak, to join, or they may not allow wedding professionals to join a bride and groom group. If you can join, you stand to gain a live pulse on questions couples are asking and feedback their peers are giving them. It's also a great place to leave referrals when allowed or asked. If you can't join, I would ask your couples who are in those groups to review your services on there if they've been pleased. And that's a great way for brides who have used you to be able to genuinely refer you, brides and grooms. So that's something to think about even if you can't get into the group yourself. And even if you're in the group yourself, you don't have to be on there to promote and say, hey, I do this. Just being there to see what brides are looking for and what grooms are asking and what's on their minds, I found to be incredibly valuable. Another idea, rather than going the bride and groom route, are professional groups. And especially location-based ones can be a fantastic place for networking and camaraderie. During the pandemic especially, I saw how professionals in these groups They really made it a fantastic place to turn for questions regarding contracts, guidance, and more. For marketing purposes, I do see vendors turn here to these places to ask when they're looking for a second shoot or for a referral when they can't accommodate a couple. So let's say if you're in an area where this does not exist yet, let's say you're in Ann Arbor and there are no groups like this there yet, I would make a profile. Make your own Facebook group called Ann Arbor Wedding Vendors. Invite other people and start to have this place where you can ask each other questions, where you can have camaraderie and networking, and you'll be surprised that it really can take off. And even just through your own peers, you're going to find networking and marketing. To find Facebook groups for your area to see if they already exist, do a search on Facebook, but then you're going to want to filter it to show groups as your result. Start by location and then search by wedding terms like wedding pros or wedding vendors. All right, how we doing, guys? That's already a lot of info, but I have more for you. My cat's a little restless. He's changed position a few times, but we're still here. Now, next I want to talk about actual networking groups, not groups that exist on Facebook, but actual networking groups. And do networking groups still work in a digital world? And I say yes. I landed my biggest client from a face meeting at a networking event. And some networking groups, they require an annual payment, or even let's say your Chamber of Commerce. That's something where you're going to be paying annually. But there are some that allow you to pay by event only. So you can attend an event, you pay to attend that event, and you network there. So even if you're not able to invest now in your Chamber of Commerce or your local business groups, start following them on social media and make those connections. It's also a great way to connect on LinkedIn and other spots like that. I'm based in Long Island, and here we have options like the town chambers. There's a group called Babes in Business. There's a group called Best of Long Island, and so forth. So do a search for networking groups in your area and see what exists and what is out there. So do you have local marketing strategies that worked for you that I haven't mentioned here? Send me a message at I Do Wedding Marketing on Instagram, or send me an email at hello@idoweddingmarketing.com. I'd love to hear your comments, suggestions, and even recommendations for future guests as we build this podcast. So before we take off, based on what we discussed today, my homework for you is to see if you can tackle one of these items, whether it's joining local groups on Facebook, following some of those local influencers I mentioned, or maybe just getting that quote from a local magazine. Just get the quote, see what it is. Knowledge is power, right? So try one of these things, and I'm confident that you're going to find a strategy that works for you. And if you can't, that's what I'm here for. Contact me on my website and we can schedule a consultation call to discuss working together. The calls are really fun and easy, and it's just a blast to get to know you guys and what you're looking for. And then I get the chance to tell you what I do, and we'll see if it works. So that's a wrap on episode 2, guys. I'm feeling pretty excited about it. Like I said, contact me on Instagram and on my website, and we'll see what else we can do on this podcast together. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on next Wedding Wednesday.